Are you struggling to get enough protein in your diet? Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Quick reminder though, please click like down below. I would appreciate it. Also, if you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you would please drop me a comment down below with your thoughts or just to say hello, I would appreciate that. So thank you so much. Let's get over to the point. For those of us who's been doing this forever, when we hear people say, I can't get enough protein in my diet, I struggle to get enough protein, I can't get my 150 grams or my 200 grams or whatever I'm trying to reach. Oftentimes people have that, they want that 1 gram per pound of body weight, which is actually not an unreasonable amount. Yes, it's more than we need for muscle growth. I'm fully aware of that, but it's also a really good, comfortable, well into a fail-safe position, and it's also great for satiety, fat loss, all that as well, particularly improving body composition. I think it's actually a good number. But people say, I'm really struggling to hit that. And it's because they come from a non-fitness background. And for those of us who've been doing this forever, we're like, dude, what do you mean? 300 is easy. Like the only issue is budget. You just got to buy the food and eat it. For those of us who've been doing it a long time, but we forget most of the people out here learning this stuff have not been doing it a long time. Okay, because this comes up and I make these videos, and I'm going to invariably get people who say, coach, this is a real problem? I'm like, yeah, it's a real problem. And when you guys were new, go back and think. It's like, oh yeah, you're kind of right, it was. All right, so let's get over to it. Here's why. A couple of things. Number one, people trend to eat traditional breakfasts. That's a problem. Things that they think of as breakfast foods. All right. And then the number two, not building their meals around a protein source. Okay. Because most people, like, let's say what their meal is going to be. What are they thinking? I'm going to have spaghetti. I'm going to have burritos or whatever it happens to be, right? They're thinking of a complete food. Those of us who've been doing this a while, we don't think like that. What do we think? I'm going to have chicken and rice. I'm going to have steak and potatoes. I'm going to have Greek yogurt and protein powder with my oats and some fruit. Okay, this is how we think. Notice how I started every meal. Chicken and rice, steak and potatoes. What was the mindset? This is how lifters eat. We always start with a protein. Notice that when we talk about food. Yeah, man, you can do chicken, rice, and broccoli diet or whatever. Notice it's never rice, broccoli, and chicken. That's not what anybody's saying. Why? Because our brain is hardwired to think protein. Protein is always the basis of your diet. Okay? And you have to think that way when you're structuring meals. You don't have a candy bar. You don't have an apple. We're thinking protein. Protein, every time you sit down to eat something, there better be protein. All right? So what do we mean? So let's say you're going to have pasta. How much protein do you put in there? How much meat? Well, you better know. That's the important part. Like all that pasta and all that, that's just your calorie source. That's your energy. Your carbs, your fat, that's your fuel. Because, you're going to have to eat maintenance calories. You're not going to live on air. We need fuel to function. We need fuel to train. We need fuel to do whatever we're doing. We have to have calories. But our protein is separate. So that's your fat and your carbs, right? That's what's in that pasta. Think of that burrito. That's what's in the tortilla on it. We want to know where the protein is. And if you think that way, well, I need to have X amount of chicken in here or X amount of lean beef in this pasta. I need to have with this rice or in this burrito. I need to make sure there's my 8 ounces of chicken. I'll make them give me the extra chicken at Chipotle. Right? I'm going to get my 70 grams of protein from that burrito. Because we think that way. That's how you avoid this problem first of all. Protein first. Always first. It's always chicken and rice, always steak and potato. So what happens if you think that way? It's like, oh man, all of a sudden eating 300 grams of protein gets real easy, let alone the 150, 200. Okay, because every meal is built around protein. And then we fill in carbs and fat. So the rice or the avocados or the, whatever it is that you're adding. All right, let's say you're going to make that sandwich, you know. Yeah, you got the bread and the vegetables, but you're thinking the meat first. Okay? Same thing when you go to do breakfast. You go buy a packet of oatmeal with sugar. No, you make your own. You're like, all right, man, I'm going to take some Greek yogurt. I'm going to make sure I get 30 grams of protein from this Greek yogurt before I add these oats, which have protein, and my fruit to it. I'm standing around eating cereal. I mean, if you're serious about your fitness, you're trying to get to your goals. You're not standing around eating a bowl of cereal. I hope not. But it's a healthy cereal. Yeah, okay. This is why you're having problems. We need to chill with this nonsense. But it's the Kushi Go League or whatever. Yeah, okay, dude. Get some protein. Eat you a steak for breakfast. Why don't you eat a steak and potato for breakfast? But no, I mean, no, seriously. Why can't you eat steak and potato for breakfast? Is there something magical that happens at 6 o'clock at night that's the only time that steak tastes good? The only time it's an easy 100 grams of protein? No, of course not. Get that protein in every meal, and you need to be thinking that way all the time. Why isn't there protein? So what? You are going to eat oatmeal. Why can't you eat some chicken or steak next to it if you decide you're going to have oats? But if not, okay, you put Greek yogurt in it. Add some protein powder. There we go. Eat you some protes. That's a bodybuilding classic right there. Right? Some protein powder thrown into that oatmeal. Throw some frozen cherries in there when you microwave it on top of it. Man, that's awesome. That is really good. Some frozen cherries mixed in with your oats with a scoop of whey protein, chocolate whey or whatever, you know. It could be a strawberry flavor if you want that with the cherry. And then those hot cherries, once you microwave it after they were frozen, that's delicious. You can get an easy 30, 40, 50 grams of protein right there. Your breakfast needs to have that, right? Your first meal of your day better have 50 grams of protein like that. And look how easy that is to do. These are solutions, people. People are like, I don't get... No, because you're not starting with protein first at every meal and building around it. You need to be having protein at every meal. I don't like chicken. Put some mustard on it. All right? This is not difficult. Or cook it into your food. This is not difficult, people. Worst comes to worst, slam a protein shake. They're convenient. And they're great for that purpose. That's why they exist. They're a convenience protein source. Right? And I usually use the Optimal Nutrition. That's my brand of choice. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.